So I think we can start now.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum to all the participants, and welcome to the fourth SheTalks session. Today, joining us are Amna Zafar and Shahab Nazi. Shahab Nazi is the co-founder of Startup Guide and the founder of Trailblazer magazine. And Amna Zafar is a digital marketing and communications expert and started her career at Lotus as a publicist. Then Amna worked at Coca-Cola for 6 years, where she looked after corporate communications for a 10-country region. Then she has started her own marketing services agency called Checkbox Media a year and a half ago. Checkbox Media runs multiple social responsibility programs for women empowerment and youth development. Both ladies are experts of digital marketing, and we'll be discussing this topic today. So again, before we begin, please just keep your mics on mute. And if you have any questions, please write them on the chat box on the right. So thank you. And Shahab, now over to you.
Thank you, Nashwa. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Hope you're doing well, keeping safe, wearing your masks. Today we have Amna with us, and these days one of the things that is coming across very prominently is that the people who have kind of established their business models based on digital platforms and e-commerce are kind of still thriving in spite of the crisis that is going on. So we want to in today's session, we want to talk a little bit about the different digital platforms that can be used to kind of improve your business models. And we'll also ask Amna a few questions about specifically about how small businesses and startups can use social media at this time to not necessarily sell their products, because we know that people are not buying right now. They are buying specific products, but they're not buying all kinds of products, but just to kind of build their brand presence. So before we begin, Amna, thank you for joining us, and I would like to ask you to kind of just give a little bit of your introduction, and then we will move forward.
Thank you for having me. I think pretty much everything was covered as far as the introduction goes. I got into digital marketing because when I was at Coca-Cola, I had the opportunity to work with a lot of big data. I got to work with data internally for the organization and understanding how it can enhance different aspects of the business at large. And I thought that was something that will eventually become very relevant when we go into the macro market as well. And going forward with that, that's how I ended up setting up a digital marketing agency. And in today's world, like we see, I mean, a year ago, digital was booming, but I think with the circumstances, one thing that we've seen is how a lot of processes have now moved to digital, may it be digital processes internally within an organization, as well as, the market at large. So it's taken a big shift now. Lost the audio. Shahab, you're on mute.
Yes.
Can't hear you. Yeah.
No, I'm not on mute.
Yeah.
So okay. Now there are a lot of, aajkal there are a lot of startups and small businesses. And we see them, asking, people are not buying from us, how can we sell more? What can we do? How can we use social media? So, and, we know that before there's a conversion or there's a lead, there's that, brand awareness process when you look at, kind of like a marketing funnel, let's say, right? From a technical perspective. So how can we know that people are not buying, obviously, but they are browsing things and maybe saving things for the future, maybe things that they're interested in and they want to buy at, maybe some point in the future, 6 months, a year, whenever. So what do you think, how can, businesses and startups use their social media right now to kind of, what can they do? Like, if you had to give like 3 to 5 different tips.
So see, there are two parts to this, right? One, it's not completely true that people are not buying. People are still buying. There are certain products that are still working that are part of एक तो healthcare तो essential हो ही गया है. वो anything related to health people are still consuming, right? From what we've understood, food has multiplied its increased sales. Retail generally has, even one would assume कि basic retail कम हुआ होगा लेकिन retail बढ़ा है. दूसरा छोटे जो आपके products हैं which are I think not very expensive, that are within like 1 to 5,000, we have seen an increase on those. It's the luxury items, clothing items, usme thoda sa, there's been a fall. So ek cheez, because there's a lot of clothing brands that we used to work with, who were doing ready to wear clothes. So what we told them initially, or how we took it forward with them, like what we suggested was to stop trying to sell and use this opportunity to engage with the consumer.
Exactly.
Conversion नहीं हो रही है इस वक्त for certain products, right? अगर आपका product उस category में fall करता है, there isn't much that you can do about the macro environment to change that. People are not going out, people are not going to buy clothes, right? It's as simple as that. वो आप जितना मर्जी उसको push करके देख लो, लोग आएंगे browse करेंगे, but like use this opportunity to get your structures right? Create that integration. Like I think one part ये कि काफी चीजें होती हैं ऐसी जो हम लोग बैक बर्नर पे रख देते हैं क्योंकि वो एक्टिव जब आपका डेली बेसिस पे बिजनेस चल रहा होता है वो आप कर नहीं सकते हो, right? Improving your website, right?
Yes.
Putting all the right plugins in the website, creating that proper funnel.
SEO for that matter.
SEO बेहतर करें, अपना कस्टमर एंगेजमेंट बेहतर करें ऑनलाइन, कस्टमर फिल्टरेशन शुरू करें, देखें कि कौन सा कस्टमर है जो कंटेंट के साथ एंगेज कर रहा है, कौन सा नहीं कर रहा, किस किस्म के कंटेंट के साथ व्यूअर्स एंगेज कर रहे हैं, what is taking them to the website, what is their user experience over there. So this is a good time to get a lot of customer information in and get that data sorted.
And we see, that in the past, especially 2 years, there's been a lot of evolution when it comes to the business models that we see up. But they're, mostly based around digital or tech in some kind of a way. So do you think that these kinds of businesses have a special kind of an advantage, perhaps? And, how other businesses can kind of see from their practices in terms of how to kind of, because you have to benchmark something, somebody who's already applied something. So what would be your take on that?
See, देखो externally digital market improve कर रही थी. एक दो तीन जो बड़े challenges थे वो ये थे कि I mean, at least in a country like Pakistan, one would say कि PayPal जैसी service exist नहीं करती थी. So the payment portals were the biggest challenge that we were facing online, right? That will have to change, right? We're not going to get PayPal anytime soon. People are not going to suddenly become comfortable with credit card payments all of a sudden. But what we've started seeing now is that facilities like e-paisa have come into the market. E-wallets wali, jo mobile wallets wali cheez hai, ye bahut zyada ekdam se increase kar gayi hai. So that is something that we definitely now, given our circumstances, need to start look at a little more seriously. Digital marketing models were there. Digital marketing was booming prior to all of this happening. Also, it has increased exponentially. There are more people online, they're spending time online. But now we have to think about it from the conversion standpoint as well. Like, how do we make that user experience eventually easier or simpler? So, ab usme ye hai ki using these payment portals now, that is something that businesses जो पहले से digital platforms चला रहे थे have to now start thinking about that. कि यार एक तो one, it's easier payment. Second, ये है कि people are now a little afraid of currency exchange also.
Yes.
So it kind of works both ways. That you should have that solution on your cash on delivery ka alternate as well. And additionally, people who were not on digital model, and this applies to obviously everybody who was already there, who was using the digital e-commerce space. If you were not, now's the best time to be there. I mean, this is the future. There were hurdles जो कि हमारी market में exist करते हैं, but even beyond those hurdles, this market was growing at a very, 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 it was growing at an exponential rate. And the biggest part about small business is that it creates a landscape for you, no matter how big or small you are, right? You're working with an even playing field. Digital marketing is not very hard. If we go online, there are enough resources available that anybody can utilize Facebook marketing. Learning the skill is also not very hard. Facebook today has made using their backend for promotion very, very simple. They are doing a lot of the hard work for you. I mean, something as easy as, integrating your websites, your backend. I mean, if you're on Shopify or whatever e-commerce portal that you're using, like integrating that has become very, very easy now. So I think people who were previously, let's suppose, hesitant or were not doing it or did not get the time to do that, I think this is now is the perfect time to ensure that your e-stores, your social channels and all the other things that you're doing are actually aligned. Learn the trait, learn the skill. There is enough information. I did not know much about digital marketing, to be very, very honest, when I started off. Right, I was interested in data. I could do insights, I could do analytics, and I knew how business works. But the technical end of it, I had no idea. And I actually started off because a friend of mine who was running a small e-store asked me to help out, and I invariably ended up looking at a few videos available on YouTube, downloading a few tutorials. And it's actually it's now, if you don't, like, if somebody says that we don't know how to market on Facebook, uh, I think the onus is on you. That is something that's a very, very learnable and easily accessible skill.
Yeah. So, acha, and another thing is that I believe that, like from observation, I think that our startups and businesses worry kind of a little bit more about boosting a post or running an ad than kind of the content that they have in a post. बहुत सारे ऐसे, there are a lot of posts that actually get a lot of engagement organically without any kind of boosting or any kind of advertising, just because of the story that it's telling or the kind of content that it's creating. So what would be your kind of take, or like some hands-on kind of tips to tell the story in a certain kind of a way which would boost the organic reach? Because at the end of the day, if you spend money on a post which is already doing well organically, तो उसकी रीच और भी ज्यादा होगी. बट अगर एक पोस्ट ऐसी है जिसका कंटेंट अच्छा नहीं है, आप उसमें जितने भी पैसे डाल लें, it won't be that effective. So what would be yes
Okay, so a few tricks. See, the thing is, and this obviously takes a little while to understand. दो तीन चीजें होती हैं. Social media or digital marketing is not a linear process, right? It's not something that is a one trick all fits all type of solution. But इसके दो तीन primary चीजें हैं जो कि अगर if we get those right, we can see more reach organically, and we can see a much better multiplier on the money that we spend, the ROI that we're generating out of the money that we spend. So one and the primary thing is that ensure that once you've created a page, अब शुरू में ये हुआ था, people who came onto social earlier, right, they got a lot of followers. There was this big trend कि लोग followers खरीदते थे, right, दिखाने के लिए कि हमारे followers हैं. अब in the larger scheme of things, जिन्होंने वो किया है उनको अब नुकसान हो रहा है. बिकॉज अब अगर वो पोस्ट लगाते हैं और वो बेशक उनके 10,000 फॉलोअर्स हैं, लेकिन उसमें से सिर्फ उनके एंगेजमेंट नहीं आती है, ठीक है, देन इट काइंड ऑफ गेट्स लॉस्ट इन द एंटायर. कुछ ये आई मीन इट्स एक बॉट्स हैं, कुछ फेक अकाउंट्स हैं, और ये वाली काफी चीजें. तो अगर आपका इस किस्म का पहले प्रोसेस है तो अपने पेजेस को फिल्टर करें. आई थिंक दैट्स द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. इफ यू वांट टू गेट रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट, don't waste money trying to find followers or trying to get followers who are not your potential customer or your target customer, right, or who are not relevant for the kind of content that you're putting out there. One, that needs to be there. Then second, I think it's from what we've realized, it's a 3-part solution. It's not just the post that you put up, it's not just the advertisement that you do, and it's not the influencer marketing as well. All three need to happen parallelly. The integratedness of it is very important today. We say this a lot, and it's a nice term that's been used very often, but for digital it's very, very relevant. Integrated marketing approach is very, very important when you are trying to build a digital platform, which means that your social uspe bhi, that the content that you're putting up, organic posts that you're putting up, what time you're putting those posts up, what is the sort of content that you're using, right? Now from what we're, because making content has become so much easier than it used to be. a long time ago. Static posts don't get the same response as, slightly video based posts or moving images or slightly animated posts, right? Making animated posts today is not very hard.
Yeah.
There are a lot of solutions that are available that you can utilize. Actually, but built-in apps बन चुकी हुई हैं Instagram के लिए अब animated चीजें बनाने के लिए, right? So the kind of content that you're creating, don't make content that people are not going to engage with. It can be the most beautiful design. It can be the most colorful design. But if it's not engaging, people are just going to scroll through it. मतलब आप खुद सोचें कि एक चीज है लोग उसमें scroll कर रहे हैं. It needs to be catchy. It needs to be something that makes them stop. And with static posts, it's become increasingly difficult to do that. So that is one trend that we're seeing, right? On the content. So your content needs to be right. Second, what time you're putting up your posts is also very, very important. You need to see, you can make the best post in the world, but if you put it out at a time कि लोगों ने मतलब social पे होना ही नहीं है, so it's gone, right? Then secondly, there's an algorithm and there is a process behind what appears and what doesn't appear on your feed, right? Even if it's an organic post. For instance, if there is somebody who's following me, right, and I've put up a post, it's not necessarily necessary that they'll see my post.
Exactly.
Right? अगर उसमें delay हो गया है या उस वक्त वो नहीं थे, उसमें engagement नहीं आई है, so that becomes very, very challenging. So you know what time your audience is most available to know what time you're putting up a post, right? In today's world, obviously, it's not applying like it used to under normal circumstances, but like weekends pay, usually you wouldn't see traffic prior to this, right? You wouldn't see traffic during the midday. 3 से 5 बजे के बाद traffic बेहतर हो जाती थी. Late night, obviously it changes from product to product and page to page. But like these were the standard trends. Thirdly, how are you utilizing stories? Because a lot of what is happening now is कि algorithm पे post miss हो सकती है, but invariably if people are following you, they'll see your story. And I see a lot of people not utilizing that, whereas that is a slightly more effective way of engaging as opposed to using your simple posts. ठीक है, अब उसके बाद when you're doing all of that, right, the boost comes after that, right? The boost is important. It will take you to people who are beyond your reach, in the sense that if you have organic reach pe aapke, it's the followers, right? The chances that you will land up in an explore page with just that are not very high. Another thing that I'm seeing is jo abhi recently काफी change हुई है, people tend to use a lot of hashtags, whereas the more hashtags you use, the more irrelevant you become. Use the correct hashtags. Use the hashtags that are relevant to your business. 3 से 4 से ज़्यादा hashtags use करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. अपने product को सही तरह tag करें ताकि अगर लोग आपको ढूंढ रहे हैं, आप आसानी से आप उनको मिल तो जाए. Exactly. That, and then go to your boosting, and boosting too is not very expensive now. The minimum that you need to spend on a post now is less than 160 rupees.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the money that you can use. So if you're getting some extra data out of it, run some tests, like go make audiences, see what audience is working, what audience is not working. छोटे amount पे boost करके देखो and see the result that you're getting. Lastly and more importantly, like the most important, influencer marketing. And when I say influencer, I don't mean big celebrities, but third-party endorsements are very, very important. Resharing them on your page is very, very important. So if your business is doing something and you can get a third party to validate that, people always give it more value.
Yes.
So sharing content through influencers within your field will always help. And if you do all three correct, this is what we call the digital golden triangle internally, right? You do the content right, do your influencer marketing right, and do your boosting right. And if you're able to do that, there is no reason why you should not get engagement or conversion on your page.
Yeah. And since we're talking about data, you spoke a little bit about the fact that you've worked with insights and data in the past as well, and the whole integration process, and the fact that these days it's important to kind of stay connected to the customers, right? So we know कि Facebook के पास हमारा सारा data होता है, like all the responses and all the everything that anyone interacts with your ad or your post in any kind of a way. So that person's data is with Facebook, right? So you can use that for analytics. And then you can also kind of, if you have email addresses already, and you can feed those as well to Facebook directly, so that it kind of targets those people, specifically. So,
Yeah.
and I've noticed that we don't, use all of this information as well as it can be used. So
Yeah.
what would be some, simple tricks and hacks kind of things that, that can make data simpler, or these things simpler, or, kind of like finding those customers that you should maybe call and, just ask, just, um, for human spirit, or, just ask them these days how they're doing, or, if they need anything, or you can help them with anything, So just to kind of build that connection, how do we go about finding those customers?
See, at this point in time, obviously, because conversions are not happening, staying in touch with your customers, staying in touch with your consumers is probably the most important thing. Stay engaged. अभी फिलहाल के लिए तो it is the most important thing. अब इसमें how we get this information पे अगर हम आ जाते हैं, so there are two parts to it, right? And they are fundamentally different approaches depending on what sort of model you have digitally, right? If you have a website, then 70% of your work is done, right? Website पे आपको pretty much सारी content अपने users की मिल सकती है. Whoever is coming to your website, you have mostly all of their data available, right? If you integrate that data with Facebook, if you integrate those plugins with Facebook, right? Uh, Facebook gives you an opportunity to create lookalike audiences, right? So you
Right.
can directly reach those customers. ठीक है, वेबसाइट पे बेसिक एक चीज ये होती है, एक या लॉगिन का ऑप्शन क्रिएट कर सकते हैं आप यूजर डेटा के लिए, या आप एक कुछ सब्सक्रिप्शन पॉपअप उनको दे सकते हैं, so जिसमें आपको उनको ईमेल एड्रेसेस वगैरह मिल जाएंगे. अदरवाइज देयर लॉट ऑफ प्लगइन्स एंड कुकीज अवेलेबल दैट यू कैन एक्चुअली यूज फॉर फ्रॉम योर वेबसाइट टू generate that sort of content. Now, Facebook has kind of changed its backend more recently. It doesn't give you specific data anymore. It was easier previously to create lookalike audiences through just your Facebook data, but now you need your customer data.
Yeah.
So वो data आप अपने end पे भी collect कर सकते हैं, right? So if you have a customer engagement point, your point of sale है बेशक आपका, या कोई point of inquiry है आपका, तो उसमें आप customer data like their name, their email addresses, their mobile numbers, you can collect that and you can feed that into Facebook as well. But the easiest way today is to just make sure you have a website. Make sure those websites is integrated with your Facebook account. Facebook Pixel is very simple. There are 1,000 tutorials that are available on YouTube who will give you a step-by-step on how to put pixels into your how to create the Facebook pixel into your website, like how to create that integration or create that link. And once that is there, तो वो Facebook आपके लिए automatically data खुद gather कर रहा है. Facebook actually has made a lot of the data gathering and the targeting simplified for you, because they're actually doing most of the work. In the process, they're getting all your data, obviously, but वो उनको वैसे भी मिल रहा है. They already have it. So
Exactly.
might as well use this to your advantage and do that. If you don't have a website, then make sure that you're engaging online, right? You have the opportunity, both platforms, Facebook and Instagram, they give you an opportunity for a two-way communication. It's not one way anymore. Stop making one-sided posts and putting stuff out there. Ask people questions, engage people in some sort of a way, do Insta stories, do polls, utilize the tools that you have. And what I see is जो हमारे पास basic tools available है, हम उसको नहीं करते utilize. Like Instagram now gives you opportunities to do Q&As. It gives you opportunities to do polls. It gives you opportunity to do choices. You can go live. So you have all of these tools. You can talking to your customer is easier than ever today.
Yeah. And since you've had a bit of a PR background as well with Lotus, and so what is your take on digital PR? That you can do, like you said about the influencers and the bloggers. So we know that the first thing that they ask is money. So, and small businesses don't have budgets as big as or for influencer marketing specifically, let's say. So what are some kind of ways to, kind of, I don't know, establish relationships with influencers in a way that, they can probably organically promote your product without, like the more subtle ways of kind of doing influencer marketing, or doing it without spending money, or with spending lesser money for that matter?
Okay, so a lot of these influencers who ask for money, I'm actually kind of against them.
Yeah.
Like, to be very honest, I feel like the kind of money that they're asking for is insane.
And everybody knows that, somebody paid them to post something. So it's not
Exactly.
genuine per se, and these days it's more about the genuine emotion and the more genuine kind of content that you create.
Exactly. So like, one, there are a lot of people who claim to be influencers and उनकी engagement बहुत low है. इससे पहले कि आप किसी को जाके ये influencer consider करें, पहले आप ये देखें तो सही कि उनके post लगाने से आपके कोई engagement पे फर्क पड़ेगा भी या नहीं पड़ेगा.
Exactly.
उनकी existing post देखें, उस पे देखें engagement उनको किस तरह की आ रही है, क्या वो इस किस्म के लोग भी हैं जो conversion में create कर सकते हैं. अच्छा, जब मैंने influencer marketing कहा था, I didn't necessarily mean people who have become influencers. Influencer
Right.
marketing or PR, digital PR, technically is a third party endorsement.
Yeah,
Now, that third party can be anyone. That third party doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be somebody who has a 10,000 plus followers and has an influencer status. अगर उस 10,000 में से आपको 1% भी customer नहीं मिलना, it's of no value. But if you have somebody who has, let's suppose, 300 followers, but it's 300 people who genuinely follow their content and genuinely like their
That's
content,
more valuable.
They have more influence.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the term, it comes from influence, right? Who are the people who can actually say or endorse something that people will eventually buy? So unki credibility kitni hai?
Yeah.
One, right? So if you have to go. Second, ये है कि अगर आपने influencer marketing करनी है, आपने third party endorsement करनी है, और आपके पास you don't have the budgets to get these influencers. If you have a product you want somebody to try, if there's a service that you want somebody to offer it to them.
Yeah.
Look at your own circles, look at your friends, your family, your friends of friends, right? Or even people that you believe have some sort of clout online. A lot of times just writing a handwritten note requesting them to do something with your actual product or with the actual service or whatever it is that you're trying to get them to endorse, just tell them to try it, have that sort of belief in your product, right? So if the product is, there are a lot of people out there who will do something just because the product is good and you approached it nicely. I think with PR, 70-80%, I mean, at least from what I believed, it's just like you genuinely ask someone nicely to do something for you, and you're not trying to sell something, they'll do it. And if you're not trying to sell something, मतलब आप भी उनके साथ गलत information ना share करें, आप भी उनको मतलब don't overstate or understate what is happening. I think an honest conversation goes a very long way. So write to people. Social media hai aapke paas available. Write to people, send them, ask them if you can send them your product. Just one thing that we need to understand and realize about social is that the more authentic, the more honest we are, the more effective it is. Be your true self online, and that will get you the maximum results. Don't try to mimic or benchmark something that is working for someone else. The thing is, because digital is such a constant conversation, and it's something that you're doing consistently. It's not something that आज की है तो 3 महीने बाद करोगे, आप रोज कर रहे हो. So if you're trying to put up a show, you are likely to forget कि यार मैं कर क्या रहा था, या मैं कर क्या रही थी, या मेरा business क्या represent कर रहा था, या मेरी क्या voice थी, what was I trying to be. Don't get into it. Be honest, be authentic, and make the conversation as I think it needs to get a little candid. A lot of what I see, where I see startups failing, is they try to be too corporate. Look at the corporates. Look at what the corporates are doing now. They're trying to be more candid.
Exactly.
One-on-one conversation over
the human connection they're trying to build.
Exactly. So create that individual connection. One thing that really works out, know who your good customers are. Know people who are constantly engaging with your content. Find people who are constantly buying from you. You have their data, right? So ensure that you know who these people are. Build a personalized connection with them. Send them a message on their birthdays. It's not very hard. You have plugins to
Yeah,
do that. You can auto generate those messages, right? If something interesting is happening, make the effort to send an email out. If you're
exactly.
doing something big, right? The more information that we have, like today, in today's world, we have more information than we need. Businesses have insurmountable information at this point. It's about
Exactly,
how we
exactly.
utilize that
Yeah,
information
yeah.
now. So with startups, the one thing, the advantage that they have, even if they don't have the big money, is that they have the opportunity to create that personal connection, and that is what will matter at the end of the day.
And also the startups whose founders are promoting their personal stories, as individuals, and in the process also kind of promoting their services or kind of promoting their startups, are getting more like a better response these days, instead of startups
Yeah,
which are just kind of like trying to promote the services. And also like you said about the human connection, I know it's difficult for us to kind of have the difficult conversations, which, because har koi chahta hai ki okay, life is good, everything is perfect, we kind of represent that perfect picture on social media, and we don't
yep.
like to have the difficult conversations ki, oh, I didn't have a nice day today, or I'm having this kind of difficulty, with work, just with general life. So I think these days, especially with the whole candid conversation thing that you said, these kinds of conversations actually get more engagement when people are talking about their depression or their work difficulties, or the fact that they're about to burn out.
Yeah, see, it's about relevance, right? It's also about see, at this point in time, if we're not having this conversation, we're being silly, right? Because I mean, that's the only, it's I think it's one thing that's unifying the world right now more than anything else. I think nothing this big has ever happened. Uh,
And everyone is going through it together for once,
everyone's
everyone.
going through it.
Yeah,
Exactly. So if you're not talking about it and if you're pretending everything's okay, then like people will not be interested, right? You
exactly.
don't necessarily need to talk about depression per se, but be relevant
But just
to
real
what is
life things,
happening.
yeah.
Yeah, be relevant to what the conversation is, right? Right now, if your content is irrelevant to what is happening, or it doesn't take into account what is going through people's lives, then people are not going to engage with it online. And when I say relevant, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are constantly talking or fear mongering or anything of the sort. I mean, it can be relief out of that as well. It can be positivity in the situation as well. It can be a coping mechanism as well. You can talk about how your business is doing, or you can not talk at
Exactly.
all. I mean,
Yeah,
given the
yeah, yeah.
circumstances, I wouldn't be surprised if like I am
If you don't
actually
talk at all.
even the, yeah, I mean, I work in
Yes.
this industry, but like I actually I've literally deleted social off these days, because it's everybody's individual choice. It's like I think everybody's
Exactly.
going through this for the first
And
time.
everybody has their own way
So
of dealing with things. So
yeah,
yeah.
and it's about what content you want to take in and what you don't want to take in. But at this point in time, if you tried, like, this is what we were talking to a lot of our businesses that we are working with, don't try to take advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
don't
Because
don't
people
don't
will
look
see
at
right
it.
through it.
People will see right through it. Be
Yeah,
relevant to the conversation, but don't like use it too much also. Like,
exactly.
so that's that. And people are intelligent. I think the one thing we
Yeah,
don't give our users credit for, our users are very intelligent. So
exactly,
be
exactly.
authentic, know what the voice of your business is. Knowing your business voice is very important. So, and then just stay in line with that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So, and I think we also have a few questions. So the first one is from Siddharth. He's saying,
Okay.
hi, I can understand digital marketing booming in B2C models, but how do
Yeah.
you think B2B market will accustom to the new changes post-COVID in terms of digital marketing?
Post COVID in terms of digital marketing. Wow, interesting. So,
Specifically B2B.
yeah. So B2B businesses, it's a different sort of a digital approach with B2B businesses, right? If you're doing B2B businesses, the social tools that apply for B2C businesses not generally the same, right? You need a social media presence. It's great that people should be able to find you. You need to have those product endorsements over there, but you're not necessarily connecting with the consumer. So ensure that with the B business, the information is there. The information is up to date. Don't, like, B2B businesses tend to slack online. I'll be very honest. Like, we've seen this as well, because it's not
Yes.
necessarily their main point of conversion. So they tend to be late with information, or they tend to be late in terms of putting the information out there. So in terms of इस वक्त पे जो B2B businesses हैं जो relevant होंगे, that means कि उनकी purchasing चल रही होगी, उनकी अभी तक cycles system में है, structure में है, उनका काम रुका नहीं है. अगर आपका काम रुका नहीं है, then ensure that all your content is up to date. You are easy to find. Your SEO is in place. If you are a product that's relevant to the market and people you think are going to need it, or businesses you think are going to need it, use that opportunity to get the information out there. Then secondly, targeted information बड़ी ज़रूरी होती है, right? So B2B में जो advantage होता है हमारे पास is that we know most of our consumers. We know most of the businesses that are buying from us. It's easier to find lookalikes for those businesses. So make the effort of collecting information, even if you're collecting it offline. Collect that information, input that into Facebook, create lookalike audiences from that, and find those businesses online. Find new customers online. You can find more leads online. So, yeah.
And I think also we kind of underestimate LinkedIn as a platform, especially for B2B.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people who find a lot of B2B, leads and work and contacts if they kind of actively keep posting on LinkedIn, if not through like as a company page, even if it's, as an individual.
No, even if all social platforms are important. LinkedIn, obviously for B2B, is more important because most of your contacts on LinkedIn are your work contacts.
Exactly.
आपके personal contacts उसमें काफी कम होते हैं. वो आपका technically working network तो आपका वो है. So if you are trying to utilize something, like engaging your network is important, be it in person, be it online, be it anywhere. And even with LinkedIn, it's obviously it's a great platform as far as it is a recruitment platform, but in terms of finding business connections, it's very, very relevant.
Yeah. Okay, and then Osama is saying, I own an engineering firm and deal in oil and gas products. My clients normally do not go to Facebook before purchase. How can I use social media marketing to promote my products? Already doing Google SEO, Google ads and SEO, etc.
So if your customers are not going to Facebook, then there's no point of looking for customers on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
If your customers, I mean, oil and gas is something like, it's something that you can use to stay top of mind, right? Not a lot of decisions for such industries are generally made off, Facebook, but it's always good to be present on the platform. So use it for engagement, use it for brand building. Use the backend, use the analytics. I mean, if you're doing the SEO, if you're doing the Google Analytics, and if you're doing the searches, then you know who these people are who are doing those searches for you. So use that funnel for Facebook as well. Use your data for those platforms, and just make sure that even if you are advertising, or even if you don't want to advertise, you're putting relevant content up there on Facebook. So if potential customers come there, your business story exists there. Build your brand online. Like there is limitation to what you can do on website. You are what do you call it, using Google Analytics to get those conversions, but what you can do on Facebook and Instagram is that ensure that your brand story is there. For an engineering company, for something like oil and gas, I mean, I don't know what the specific nature of business is exactly, so I can't comment much on it, but it's important to have your brand story over there. The services that you're offering, I mean, at the end of the day, it's another additional platform. So make sure that all the information is there. Even if you don't think that you're going to get conversion, or potential customers don't go to Facebook, use Instagram. Everybody's using Instagram these days. So at least have your story there. Have your presence there, even if you feel it's not something that's for conversion.
And then someone is asking, do you think, actually we've been over this before as well, but I'll still read it out. Do you think paid likes help in building the authenticity of your brand? I have good quality products, but not much likes. People hesitate to
No,
buy.
no. I think
I think
paid
we
likes
lack patience also,
is
we just need, like instant likes and
yeah. See, if you are advertising to your target audience and you are getting likes, I wouldn't call them paid likes.
yeah, no, they're not paid likes,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're
Yes,
not paid
yes.
likes. But if you're
It's a
paying for the likes,
misconception,
I
yeah.
think it's not something that will benefit your business in the long run.
Yeah. Matlab, if you're having a bot
Focus.
like posts or
Yeah, and if you
yeah,
are spending, if you are paying, and if you are willing to pay, make the effort to get to the actual customer.
the right targeted
Make the
customer, yeah.
effort to build the right community. We don't give much attention to this, but like the more we focus on community engagement and organically building a good community both on Instagram, Facebook, or any other social platform, the more likely we are to get a better ROI on any future spending that we do. If
Exactly.
I
It's a
have
longer term investment.
it's a longer term investment, it's a day-to-day thing, and it's an ongoing process. Like I said, it's like social is not linear. It's something that you need to do consistently, and you need to do it consistently right to get
Yeah,
the numbers and the conversions. But this is the market where there is potential. Most
exactly.
markets globally, I mean, the first world had saturated on the kind of conversions that we get out of Pakistan. Like if you were even if you're a basic user and you understand how business.facebook works, and you have a basic understanding of how to create an audience, and you
Yeah,
start spending by making a decent audience, you should get a 1 to 4 conversion. You That is something that's very, very basic for a Pakistan market today, with
yeah,
with a lot of customers. And if you're doing this thing right, and you have actually focused on your community, your conversions go as high as 1 to 8, 1 to 10. That means for every rupee that you're spending, you can generate 10 to 20 rupees in sales, which are big
yeah.
numbers. So don't compromise on the organic community, because it'll be a long-term loss.
Exactly. And then Siddharth has another question as well. How can we attract more traffic? Every company is doing the same thing. Any key strategy?
Uh, so a couple of things, and I've mentioned this before. First, be authentic, right? Somebody who's liked your page is following your page for the content that you're putting out there. People are consuming a lot of content today from social. People are relying on it actually to stay sane these days.
Yeah,
There's a lot more consumption that's happening online as far as content goes. So don't put up content for the sake of putting content. uh, Make sure that your message actually has value. Don't waste your customer or your follower or your users time. Don't make them feel like, oh, this was a waste of time. So
yeah,
make your content strategy such that the content is actually something that creates value for them. If they are following your page, there is something they liked about it, right?
yeah,
Then keep your customer or consumer or follower, depends on what sort of page you have, right, engaged. Make the effort of using Insta stories. Everybody is doing similar things, uh, but everybody has their own individual voice, and no two voices are the same. If you're trying to be a me too, or if you're trying to, if it's a copycat sort of approach, it'll work for a bit, but then it'll fade
yeah,
out. The thing with social is that you need to be constantly innovative. Something might be
exactly.
working for you today, it's probably not going to work for you tomorrow. The biggest advantage that you have is that you have access to the insights, right? You have access
Yeah,
to the analytics. You go live, you know how many people are watching that, right? You put up a story, you know how much engagement you got out of it, how many people saw it, or you put up a post, so you know the kind of content that your users are liking, right?
yeah,
Then so put that sort of content out there, then make the effort of seeing what those user patterns are, right? If you are running a business, right? And if you have access to the
yeah,
business.facebook platform, it will tell you where exactly your customers or followers or people who've liked your page are going. So what are those other pages doing? Be on trend, be on market, know what is happening, and then find your own voice through that.
I think we also underestimate the presence of a website, and especially
Yes.
content creation on the website. Matlab, regular blog creation on the website, जिससे आपकी सारी search engine की traffic basically will find you, kind of. So I think that a lot of businesses in Pakistan just open like Facebook or Instagram pages, and they think, okay, since we have these, now there's no need to create content on the website, or kind of start updating the website, and they just have a website which is like a year or 2 years old, and there's no SEO, there's no blogs. So I think that is something that sets people apart, because internationally people create blog posts like regularly.
See, the thing is, I think in today's, if you don't, you're making a very, very big mistake if you don't. If you want to do your business online, and if that is what your entire model is, you need a website. Not because of anything else, just because of the data and the information that you'll get out of it. It is very, very important.
Yeah.
That you have that. There's a big part of the puzzle missing if you're not doing that. So it is important. I understand smaller businesses because they find it a little more difficult. Start off using Facebook and Instagram, and they're doing their sales over WhatsApp or stuff like that. But going to a website just multiplies your market size by quite a big a big number.
And I think people take you more seriously also if you have a domain and if you have a website which is presentable, and as opposed to like you look like a smaller business, I think, if you only have an Instagram and a Facebook page.
Yeah, I think your perception, obviously, I mean, I guess, yeah, it does kind of gives you more legitimacy, I guess, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like, if you're selling online, like if that is what your business model is,
exactly,
and you don't have what do you call it, a website, then you're making a mistake, because website pe aur kuch nahi. If you've gotten somebody to your website, because see, you can't. Social is great, and like there are some buying and selling opportunities available now. मतलब Instagram आपको prices integrate करने देता है. There are features that open up to you once you integrate your website to your social. But like social is still not a platform that's built in a way, like a page that you've created. It's not structured in a way that people can go find what they're looking for, or the products they want to buy, or the information that they need. It becomes very difficult. So a website is a much easier user experience. अब जरूरी नहीं है कि एक पोस्ट जो मैंने लगाई है वो ये चीज है that a person might want to buy. You have to play the odds, right? अगर आपने एक ad create किया हुआ है Facebook पे, ठीक है, आप चाहते हो कि आपको click मिले उससे and people come and like it or go to your website, right? Okay, maybe if you created an ad and 1 out of the 100 people who saw the ad clicked the website to buy the actual product, but if you get the other 99 on your website, then उसमें possibility है कि शायद उसको कुछ और पसंद आ जाए.
Exactly.
Right? It is literally a customer inside the store.
Yeah.
But on your Facebook page, the possibility is
it's limited
much
exposure.
वो conversion में exactly वो conversion में बदलेगा. So that is
दूसरा
very
ये भी है ना कि it's also about diversifying your platforms. कि आप Facebook भी हैं, Instagram पे भी हैं. What if Facebook and Instagram disappear tomorrow? Like YouTube stopped working, so
I mean, yeah, I guess
so you need to kind of diversify in terms of the platforms, not that they're probably not going to, but you should still
no,
be,
बंद
I
था तो
guess.
सही, इतने सालों के लिए YouTube बंद था, you never know.
So you never know, So
no, but like more than the diversification in itself, don't think of Facebook and Instagram as tools where you sell on. Facebook and Instagram are tools where you use them to get the customer to
attract the traffic.
The store is the website.
Yeah.
Don't compromise on a website. The websites are very, very easy to make today.
Exactly.
Go to Wix. You can create a website sitting there. Like it's literally drag and drop now.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, we say digital and हमें digital पे होना चाहिए, and all of that, and it's a big part of the conversation, and there's a lot of talk around it. But एक जो advantage है digital का वो ये है कि digital आसान है इस्तेमाल करना, और आपके पास अब वो सारे टूल्स अवेलेबल हैं जिसपे आप सीख सकते हो कि आपने डिजिटल किस तरह इस्तेमाल करना है. If in today's world, I mean, I feel it applies to everything and not just digital. If you're ignorant about something, it's your own fault. Because you have a search engine.
It's not hard to come by.
You have YouTube.
Yeah.
the content is there, the information is there, and I quote this a lot to a lot of some of the clients who are hesitant to use digital and everything. There's a story a couple of years ago, 5-6-year-old kid learned how to drive a car on YouTube and then drove his sister to McDonald's. A 7-8-year-old kid, or maybe 11, I don't remember. But yeah, so if an 8-year-old can learn how to drive and drive his sister to McDonald's, I mean, you can learn how to put up a
That's,
Facebook ad.
confidence. I mean, so
I mean, you can. The information is out there. Just make the effort.
Exactly. So the next question is from Maham Masood. She's asking, how long does it take on average to engage customers?
It's instantaneous.
There's no,
See, long-term engagement takes a while. You have to be consistently good with your content for people to go find you and see. Like, there are certain pages that you must be following. Like, apne aap ko dekho, right? See what you are a user of these platforms also, right? You're a consumer of content as well, right? So there are certain pages where you actually go to the page and see if they've put up something or not, right? There are certain stories that you would search for. There are certain pages that you would subscribe to on YouTube. What is it that they do? They're putting content. They're consistently putting content out there that you like or you enjoy or is relevant to you. So for long-term engagement, ensure that the message that you're delivering, don't waste people's time. Don't give them content that is not relevant for them. Don't try to put something out there that's not going to be relevant for the sake of putting something out there. If you're giving people meaningful information that is relevant for them, they will engage with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Great. So I think we're done with the questions now, and from the audience also, and my questions as well. So if you would like to add anything, to end the session.
No, I think, don't be too hard on yourself right now, because these are difficult times. If your business is not doing too well, if you're not seeing sort of like conversions online, and if you're not seeing those engagements online, don't take it too hard. Like right now, this is unprecedented. Nobody really knows exactly how this is going to pan out or turn out. Learn during this time. Try to understand your consumers during this time. Learn your platforms during this time. Use this downtime to get your things aligned. Nobody is getting great conversions right now. It is it is that. So don't be too hard on yourself as far as that is concerned. And digital is something that will continue to grow and it'll keep growing, and it's something that you don't need to spend money to keep alive, right? It's a free platform, so just keep putting content out there. And yeah.
Great, amazing. Thank you, Amna. And now over to Nashwa.
Thank you, Shahab, and thank you, Amna. It was great to hear all from Shahab and from Amna. There was so much useful information. So thank you all for attending, and thank you to all the participants. And please stay tuned on the WeCreate page for the next SheTalks session. And I will be putting Amna and Shahab's email addresses. We'll be putting it on the Facebook live post. If anyone has any questions, you can contact them to their email. So thank you so much for attending.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Allah Hafiz.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Hafiz.